this season. So this season's a little bit different than normal. We have 120 points to draft between 10 and 12 Pokemon, but this season has X Pokemon. X Pokemon, what they were basically some Ubers, not all of them, but typically the ones on the less broken side of the Ubers. While some of them are still really good, obviously, because they're Ubers for a reason. But you can only draft one, and they took up the top three tiers of 23, 22, and 21 of the non-Terras. There were Terras that got into that range, but those Terras do not count as X Pokemon. So just Pokemon that were base tiered at 23, 22, and 21 were counted as X Pokemon. Things like, your some box art legendaries, some, stronger Pokemon. Other than that, you had Terratoftons were determined by a Terra tax, being a different value from the regular draft. So, for example, if you wanted to draft Porygon 2 with no Terra, it'd be 10 points, but Porygon 2 with Terra would count as 12 of the points instead of 10. And you could have up to 3 Terra captains. And battles are free Terra, meaning we can choose any Terra type to Terra into. Our first round pick was Mega Metagross, 23 of 120 points. But look at those stats: 80 HP, 145 attack, 150 defense, 105 special attack, 110 defense, and 110 speed with the Tough Class ability that boosts its physical contact moves by 30%. One of the strongest Pokemon in this format, hence why it was at 23 points. Obviously, it cannot Terra, but it doesn't need to. Steel Psychic, such a great typing. With those stats, 145 attack, 150 defense. It eats hits for days because it has such high defense and special defense. Still relatively low HP because obviously with the way they did megas was boosting 100 or their stats by 100 points, but not touching HP. So like Metagross that goes from a 600 base stat Pokemon to a 700 base stat Pokemon, and it just becomes extremely broken, especially when they give it an amazing ability like Tough Claws. Our second round pick was Urshifu Single Strike, 20 of our 120 points, 100 HP, 130 in attack, 100 in defense, 63 special attack, 60 defense, and 97 speed with the Unseen Fist ability, which lets us break through protection. Another one of the best Pokemon in this format because it was in 20 points, which was the highest tier that was not considered an X Pokemon. So I also thought it looked really good next to our Metagross, the Steel Psychic, to break down the fairies and other things that Urshifu doesn't appreciate, and Urshifu's dark and fighting types bring down some of the things that Metagross doesn't appreciate, like other steels or dark types and things like that. And just another, great Mon, great Scarf Mon, but it could also run other sets, your bulk ups, your sword dances, your bands, with Wicked Blow, the close combat, Drain Punch, depending on the set you're trying to run. It's just such a good Pokemon with so many options. So we decided to make that our second round pick. And our third round pick was our second Dark type, our Terra Zarude, 18 of our 120 points, 105 in HP, 120 attack, 105 defense, 70 in special attack, 95 in speed, and 105 in speed. While it has a useless ability for the most part in Leaf Guard, it's still a very, very strong Terra Captain and a Pokemon that I could see being a big part of our team. Obviously, that's why we drafted it in the third round. It's one of the best Terra Captains in the game, and so we decided to go with it with our third round pick. With our fourth round pick, we went a little bit different. We wanted to go a little bit more, give us team a little more special bulk. So we went with Primarina, which is 13 points. Obviously, the Water Fairy type. 80 in HP, 74 in attack and defense, 125 in special attack, 116 in special defense, and 60 in speed. Torrent and Liquid Voice, two solid abilities. We ended up drafting Primarina just to, like I said, give us some more special bulk. And, Water Fairy is such a good typing, and it helps out with some of the things we can cover against with its typing, as well as just general special attack, because we didn't have really many special threats before this, and this is one that's relatively still strong with the 126 special attack, but still relatively bulky as well with the 116 speed F. And speaking of bulk, we decided to go another bulky Pokemon with our next pick, which was Rotom Heat, returning Pokemon to our draft leagues. Obviously, we have it in the SDA as well. 50 in HP, 65 in attack, 107 special defense, and defense, 107 special defense and physical defense, 105 and special attack, and 86 in speed with the levitate ability to avoid ground type moves. This thing can do a lot of different things like will-o-wisping, toxicking, volt switching around. It gets overheat as its fire move, and just general bulk. The 107 special defense and defense. In another national Dex draft league, it could pain split things, it could defog away hazards. Just an all around very good Pokemon. It's something I've used comfortably in the past, and something I decided to use again here. Next up, we have our second Terra Captain, which is our Terra Blastoise. We've used now 30 of our 35-point Terra Tax budget. I just thought Terra Blastoise for 12 points looks so good because it's so versatile. Whether I'm bringing it, as a spinner or just as general bulk, it could use things like Yawn. It could flip turn around. It's got 79 HP, 83 attack, 100 in defense, 85 special attack, 105 special defense, and 78 speed with Torrent and Rain Dish. But even if it doesn't want to do something like that, I could bring it as like a Shell Smash Pokemon, and it could just come in and break things or come in and sweep after some things get broken down. And with all those things being considered, I was like, at 12 points, also as a second Terra Captain, I feel like Blastoise could put in a lot of work for us. And so we decided to go with Blastoise as our second of 3 Terra Captains. Yeah, and then our next Pokemon is our Roserade. 60 HP, 70 attack, 65 defense, 125 special attack, 105 in special defense, and 90 in speed. Natural Cure, Poison Point, and Technician abilities. We went with Roserade for a couple of reasons. And again, another big special attacker, which was nice to balance out our top 3, which are all heavy physical attackers. A good ability in Technician if it wants to use it, but also things like Natural Cure to get rid of statuses, and Poison Point to poison if we decide to go that route. The other reason we decided to go with it is because of its access to moves like spikes and toxic spikes. It could use things like synthesis and keep itself healthy, and just general, good move pool, a new typing to balance out some of our other typings. It's really strong special attack, still relatively good special defense, and just a Pokemon that I've used in the past and I've got relatively comfortable with, and it does what it needs to do very well. It doesn't have a ton of versatility. It just kind of has a couple things that it can do, but it does those things really well. And for 9 points, I felt like, it was kind of worth it to take here. Our next pick was our third and final Terra Captain, Terra Ursaring. With 90 HP, 130 attack, 75 in defense, special attack, and special defense, and 55 in speed, with 3 very good abilities in Guts to boost our attack when we're statused, Quick Feet to boost our speed when we're statused, and a Nerve to prevent the opponent from eating any berries. Our Ursaring, which can hold an Eviolite as of Gen 9 with Ursaluna coming out, makes this a super bulky Pokemon with still 130 attack. Like I said, it can hold the Eviolite. It gets access to a great move pool, 3 great abilities. Even if we don't want to run Eviolite, we could run something like a Flame Orb with Guts, or Toxic or Quick Feet, and it could just do a lot of work. As our third and final Terra Captain, I don't see us bringing it to Terra very often. However, I feel like in matchups where it could really outbulk a team, I feel like we could bring it, Eviolite with with a good Terra type, and with 130 attack, get up a Swords Dance and just go to town on a team with Body Slam, Earthquake, Trailblaze, whatever the case is, depending on the matchup. So that's our third and final Terra Captain. Our second to last Pokemon is our 4-point Palossand, 85 in HP, 75 in attack, 110 in defense, 100 in special attack, and 75 in defense, and 35 in speed. Water Compaction and Sandveil, 2 okay abilities. Obviously, Sandveil not really going to be using. Water Compaction is okay. If it gave us an immunity to water, it would be a different story. That would be an amazing ability. However, it does not. So, unfortunately, it just it just raises our defense when we're hit by a water type move. But the reason I picked Palossand was one, to have a ground type, two, to have a ghost type, and three, because it's a ground type that can recover with Shore Up as well as access to Stealth Rocks, and just generally relatively bulky. I used it actually a lot for some reason in Gen 7. And I actually had a lot of fun with it. So I was like, you know what? It's 4 points. It's a budget ground type. We're gonna try it again. Uh, Also, shiny is awesome. With I love the black shinies. They're always some of the best. But yeah, another this is a budget pick, but something I could see actually coming to a couple games. And finally, our last team member for 3 points was our Zeb Striker. I wanted to pick a 3 pointer that actually could come to games. I didn't want to just pick a meme, really. I debated it, but 75 HP, 100 attack, 63 in defense, 80 in special attack, 63 in special defense, 116 speed. Three good abilities: Lightning Rock and Motor Drive to be immune to electric moves, boosting our special attack and speed respectively, and Sap Sipper to boost our attack if we're hit by a grass move. And I just feel like, not often, but it could come to maybe a game, maybe two, if it has a good matchup, like they don't have a ground type and they're really weak to electric. I could see it coming to a game or two. So that is going to be our team for this season, barring if we make any in-season adjustments. But for now, that's going to be our team. I hope you guys enjoyed this season, and please like and subscribe and stick around to check out the rest of the season. Thank you.